welcome to Americana Girls. Today I'm here with Layla
and Sadia
and our grandmother Mama Kali, and today she will be taking us through a tour of her patio garden. Okay, this is my grandmother Mama Kali, and she's going to show us the first step in her making of the patio garden. So Nana, what do you do to prepare your soil?
Okay, well I have a mixture of different things. As you can see here, the soil and different types of broken pieces of rock and wood chips and so forth. Now all of that is necessary so that it creates a situation that's like being in the ground. Remember a couple of years ago, you guys were outside with me and we planted in the garden beds there. Well, I wasn't able to do it this year. And so, determined to have a garden, I decided to just put everything on my patio. This is my screen porch, right on adjacent to my home. So what I do is to use these, they call them peat pots. It's made of peat moss, and I put the soil in, and then I put the seeds. Now here we are, about 2 months, or 2 months or a little bit more, as far as how long ago I put the seeds in here and then transplanted all of the seeds to grow these plants that we had. Now I did green beans, corn, cucumbers, tomatoes. Those are the only ones I have now. We'll soon be planting seeds for the winter crops because we're going to have greens. Greens will grow all winter long here in Atlanta because it doesn't get that cold. If it does get cold, it only a couple of days and then it's warm again. And so we're really good as far as the temperature and the weather is here. And of course you can see on my screen porch it's very light, very sunny. It's really early in the morning right now, about 10 o'clock. And so the sun hasn't really gotten onto the porch. By 12 o'clock, it's really hot, nearing 90 degrees out here. And so I just want to show you how much these things have grown, what stages they're at. And so let's get going, okay? Okay, so first of all, let me show you the tomato seeds that you planted. These are the plants, and these tomatoes were planted long after these tomatoes over here. As you can see, they're tall and they have flowers on them, and even a few tiny tomatoes right now. The seeds that you planted, Sadia, yeah, these are cherry tomatoes, and I guess they were planted about maybe 4 or 5 weeks after these, you see. And so they're still coming along. Now, I also planted corn. I said that I was going to have the biggest patio cornfield, in the world, but of course I haven't met that yet, but I have corn. Yes. And you can see also the different stages. I planted this about 6 weeks after I planted this, and it wasn't very consistent with here's another one with the corn on. Now, I just harvested a lot of green beans just the other day. And so we have the green beans here, the corn, which was planted much longer than that. Pretty soon, I'm going to have to put them down on the ground. Now, let's take a look at these. This is the cucumbers. Now, this one is a real runner, and I had to cut it back because it was just going all over the place, and these little tentacles will attach to everything, and so it was like choking the rest of my plants, you know. So I had to go. Now I did harvest quite a number of cucumbers the other day, but we still have them. Take a look. There's some cucumbers. That one, there are different ones, you know. I must say that it really isn't as nice as the ones that, you know, I harvested the other day because they're not ready yet, you know. And so, yeah, see this teeny, just starting. In fact, you can see that, you know, the flower is still at the tip of it, you know. So here, over here, we have another really nice corn cob right there. And you can see how it's all mixed up. Well, I had to do it like that because of the limited space that I have. But also what I've noticed is there are fewer bugs. You know, they say that intercropping is a whole lot better than having just one crop, because when there's one crop, then the bugs will come in and they will just devastate things. But if you have different plants growing together, then they kind of protect each other, you see. So yeah, I have a whole lot of work to do, and so you guys gonna have to come this week, this next week, because this is Saturday. You guys gonna have to come and help me to actually get these all standing up well. All kinds of little teeny little corn, and even my tomatoes need to be staked and everything. So you can see there's just all kinds of levels of plants and things growing here. And now, actually, let's look at the okra. I just planted these seeds of the okra right here not too long ago, and they just took off. But today, I'm going to get that pot there. In order for them to grow completely the size I want them to grow, I'm going to have to transplant those, and I was thinking that I would transplant these okra plants into a big pot so that they would get as tall, if not taller, than these. I remember last year when I planted my okra, it was doing beautiful and everything else was finished. You know, the tomatoes were finished, the cucumbers were finished. No, still had cucumbers. The tomatoes and the peppers and the greens, everything was already finished. But the okra was still going. And out there, you know, I had a fence around the garden because we really live in a forest with all of the animals. So, you know, my fence was torn down and my okra was gone one day. I said, how did those little deer do that? Then one morning I looked out and there was this two big bucks with antlers like that. And I said, okay, now I know who tore down my fence to eat my okra. So they're not getting it this year. And that's another reason why I have the patio garden. Okay, and so you can see I have the corn here. That's another really nice corn. One thing I can show you is that you see the corn silks there? Yeah, well, you see that they're kind of whitish yellow, and then the corn husk right next to it. Yeah, it's maturing, and so it's turning brown. And this was the indication that it's really getting mature. Okay, so this is my okra. And then, of course, some of the green beans that I planted later are here. So I planted them at different times so that I could have a harvest going for a while because it doesn't really get cold here until around November. But still, the crops will continue, all through November. But we're going to have a winter garden. And so we're going to have squash, different kind of squash that can take the cold. And we're going to have the greens. We're going to have collard greens, turnips. I just ordered some turnip seeds, collard greens, turnips, kale, and other types of greens, which we need a lot of in the winter time because there's less sun.
Oh, Nana, did you start everything from seeds, or did you also buy seedlings to start your garden?
Yes, I started the corn, the beans, and the tomatoes from seeds. Now the okra, because I didn't have the okra seeds, I found finally, not too long ago, I found some seedlings at the feed store. There's a country feed store right down Highway 29, and I went there, and luckily I found those seedlings for my okra, and that they were really little, maybe about this small when I got them, but because I really had not started my okra in time early enough, then I was happy to find these, and so they're doing well. I'm really happy. Okay, so I started everything else from seed this year, and they're doing pretty good. I probably, what I need to do is use a little bit more fertilizer. Or earlier. Probably I need to use it earlier because I do get organic fertilizer, and I use soil amendments like mushroom compost and things like that to just give them a little bit, and peat moss to hold the moisture. You see, but these grower bags, I use these instead of pots because first of all they're cheaper, and second of all I can get more of them here. I can line them up a little better. Okay then, so I'm really happy to actually show you and let your friends and other people know that they don't have to have a great big yard to actually have a pretty decent garden. You can just have a little space outside, even if it's like what do you call it? A fire escape. If you're really in the city, you can put your plants on a fire escape, or they have these little patios outside of apartment buildings. And so even if you're 15 floors up and you have a little patio deck outside, you could have a garden. Some people grow inside. I don't know how they do that, but some people do it. And so I'm happy to show you this, to show you the progress, and we will be growing some more. Maybe we'll take pictures of you actually doing that from the beginning once we get our greens going for the winter. Okay.
Thank you for sharing all of this with us and taking us on a tour of your patio garden.
Okay, I thank you very much, for coming, and you do actually help me watering and so forth. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye-bye.